got a website that you think isn't performing properly and you would like someone to do your SEO, or as I've heard, your SEOs. So SEOs can stand for two things. It can stand for search engine optimization, which is a term that must be 30 years old now. And it's not the most explanatory term, but it's the process of making your website as good as possible in as many ways as possible to make it appear higher, not just in Google, but in Bing and in AI these days. But SEO, search engine optimization, can also stand for search engine optimizer, which is what I am. Now, I've been building websites since 1998, which means I've been building websites for 28 years. And I'm only 28. I don't know how I did that. Oh, I'm 50 this year, really. Anyway, so I want to go through the process of, if you're approaching SEO like me, what happens. So I meet you, get to know your business, get to know you, the kinds of things you stand for, assuming you are a small business, because those are the people I like to work with. What your company stands for, what your ethos is, and then really importantly, who you want to reach via your website. So it might be particular people into a particular thing. For example, I want to reach small businesses, but it could be you might want to reach people that are into fashion or are into even accountant, because you're an accountant, but certain businesses you want to find. If you're a road surfacing company, you might want to find more commercial companies, people that have car parks, for example, that need surfacing. There's an example. So who do you want to reach? So you need to think about who those people are. So I'll ask you all about those people. Now, while that's going on, I will at some point have a look at your website and give you a health check. Now, I offer 3 health checks, so if you'd like one of those, I'll put a link below and I can have a look at your website, tell you what needs to be improved, so that your website can not just rank higher, but when people find your website, you don't want them to reach your website and go, oh, I can't find the contact details, or it's really unclear, or the images are fuzzy, or something about the website doesn't feel right and they go elsewhere. You want to convert people to customers once they reach your website. So whether you're offering a service or a product, people want to get to your website, you want to push them to your website, but you don't want them to go, no. You want them to go to your website and go, oh, they can help me with this thing, and there's this thing, oh, I can recommend it to my friends. That's the ideal situation. So there's a number of things your website, a number of boxes your website should tick. So you need an SSL certificate, that's kind of obvious, but probably most people these days, I will make sure your website has one of those. But there's a bunch of other things, and again, I'll put another link in for your website checklist, the things that your website needs to meet. So make sure you have all of those things in place, and ways to generate leads. So your website should be fast, it should be accessible to people with disabilities, because this is a ranking factor. Your website should have an SSL certificate, as I've mentioned. It obviously should be mobile friendly, and it needs to have your contact details really easily available, and it shouldn't be unattractive. People think of design as being like art, being like a thing that's beautiful, but actually think about the websites you spend the most time on. Those would be the best designed websites for you. It might be LinkedIn, it might be Facebook, it might be the BBC website, for example. What makes you stay on those websites is because the information is easy to find and stuff is easy to click on. It's not that it's hard to use or it's hard to find information. If it becomes hard work, people don't bother. So graphic design, which is graphic design and user interface design, comes under that umbrella of making communication easy. Communication is all. Communication is one of those things that you don't get taught at school. I didn't get taught at college when I was at university, studying art and design and then graphic design and then website design. They didn't really mention how important verbal communication is, and that graphic design is a form of communication. It's a form of visual and text communication. So I will make sure your website ticks all the technical SEO boxes, and if it needs any work, I will quote for that work. We'll take a backup of your site, do that work, make sure that's all in place, that you're happy with your website, updating it, and then we make it live, and then we create a plan of the kinds of content that you'll want to produce. Maybe I can produce that content for you. It might be blog posts, it might be something else you want to add to the site that gets added regularly. We look at what backlinks you can generate. Now, backlinks are links to your website from other websites, and you do not want to be on those spammy websites. You do not want to go with some bloke on the internet that says, I buy so many backlinks and it'll increase your ranking. It won't. So a link to your website is really good, but if it's a link to your website from what's seen as a low quality website can actually work against you. So we'll link to your website, for example, say from one of the best of franchises. So I'm a member of the Best of Sudbury. I have these awards. The links from that website to my website are like a vote for it. So positive, constructive backlinks, links to your website from within your industry. So say, for example, you run hairdressers, so links to your website from suppliers would be really good, or links to your website from customers that use your services, maybe a domestic violence charity who often have deals with hairstylists, for example, because everyone needs a haircut, and you know, we want to help each other, especially people that have been victims of abuse. So backlinks, they need to be relevant, they need to be organic, and they need to be good quality, and we look at what we can do about that. But really, content and speed and accessibility is the meat of your website. People say content is king, I say content is queen, because queens are better at it. Anyway, or empresses. I don't know, I'm being silly. But your website needs really good content, but links to your website is even better. And then we look at what we can do to promote your website. So what are you doing on social media? Do you have a Google business profile? I suggest if you're watching this right now, you can set that up yourself. Again, I'll put another link. I'm just trying to remember what to put in the description now. But setting up a Google business profile means people can find you more easily locally. So if you want to improve your local SEO, so say you're a shop or a local business and you want to attract more local businesses, when people search Google, they will find that your business in that area. Say it's Sudbury, Suffolk, for example. Sudbury, Suffolk website designers. Hopefully Polyspiral comes up. Most of my competitors will come up too. And if you can get positive reviews on your Google business profile, that also ranks you a bit higher. And reviews are really, really important. A good website with good content without reviews will do well, but a website with reviews will do better, and will almost certainly do better than your competitors. So we create a plan of how to generate all of these things, and then each month I provide a report, what's working, what we can do, what perhaps didn't work, and each month we tweak it. And because I build and host websites, and my hosting is on renewable energy, your hosting isn't damaging the planet, and so your website isn't damaging the planet. But the website hosting and the fact that I've got some technical expertise means that I can tweak your website in ways that some SEOs perhaps can't. Now, if you've had an SEO approach you and they haven't done the background checks on your website, haven't made sure you have your website's accessible to people with visual impairments or dexterity issues, that's possibly a red flag. You want to make sure that they ask about that, because that is a ranking factor, and you want your website to reach as many people as possible. And you may not realise that that customer, your ideal customer, is colourblind. You may not realise they have a dexterity issue. So making sure your website can reach as many people as possible is the best thing, obviously, and your target audience. Your target audience may not be, may be visually impaired. You absolutely don't know. So making sure your website works with as many people as possible is great, and all the technical stuff is the thing that I do. Some SEOs don't do that. So if you host your website with me, or you host your website with someone else, I look after all the technical stuff, and we say, can we add a page, can we add a chat bot, or other facilities that will make your website rank more highly or be more useful. So we're driving people to your website, but they're not converting to customers. What can we do about that? I can change the design, I can change the stuff in the background, and with time your website will rank more and more and more highly, because we've got an ongoing process that works. So for a small monthly fee, this is what I offer. So the process is an initial consultation, checking out your website, making those positive changes, and then going forward, changing that plan as we go to make your website rank more and more highly, so that you get more than a return on your investment. You get inquiries that generate more inquiries, and it's all good. So if you're interested in an SEO consultation or a website health check, contact me. I'm Abby Thomas of Polyspiral SEO and eco-friendly hosting.